Сейчас я на сцену приглашаю Мэтью Фредриксона.
Поприветствуем,
поприветствуем, причем горячо поприветствуем.
Wow.
Мэтью Фредриксон — это разработчик из Digium, который работает над Астериском уже на протяжении 15 лет. Поэтому компетенция этого человека просто максимальная. Это такая черная дыра, такая точка, в которую уже впитана вся энергия и все знание про Астериск. Я очень признателен Мэтью, что он согласился к нам приехать и выступить перед нами. Давайте еще раз поаплодируем и передадим ему слово.
Как это? Спасибо. All right, thank you. I have to apologize. I'll be giving my presentation in English. How many of you understand me? Yay! Thank you. I am so sorry about that. I speak a little bit of Russian, but I spoke a lot better many years ago, and it's very, very weak. So I'm going to be speaking in English today, and I'll do my best to speak slowly, if that helps. And if you have any questions afterwards, feel free to let me know. So today, I'm very grateful to be here. It is an honor to me to come and see so many people here from the Russian Asterisk community. I can't believe how many people I see here today, and it makes me very happy to see. What I'm going to be talking about, my experience at Digium, as he mentioned, I've worked there for about 15 years, or at least I started about 15 years ago. I have done software development there, and I have worked on lots of different things at Digium involving software development. So I've worked on Digium's drivers for the boards that we sell. I have done a lot of work on Asterisk over the years. So I have modified and changed Asterisk and had to do different things with it. I maintained, if any of you are familiar with our ISDN stack, libpre and Dotty, our device driver framework, I maintained that for very many years. I also wrote a SS7 stack for Asterisk to interconnect with big telecom connections that's used in many parts of the world. And the last few years, I spent some time working on WebRTC, which is a new technology that Google and a few other companies have come together to integrate real-time voice and video communication into the browser. And so Digium wanted to make sure that we had product offerings and make sure we understood that market. And so the last few years, I spent building tools and technologies related to doing WebRTC and WebRTC deployments. So my most recent responsibilities, the last 6 months or so of my life, I have spent managing the Asterisk project. So I am the manager now over the software developers that work on Asterisk. If any of you know, do any of you know Matt Jordan, or are familiar with his name? A little bit, one. He was the previous manager. They promoted him to be the CTO of the company, and so now I've stepped in to fill his role, and so I get to do a lot of the day in, day out work on the Asterisk project, and I was very excited to accept that position. So I'm here to talk about Asterisk, and hopefully most of you know what Asterisk is at this point, but you never know. But what I like to think of what Asterisk is an open source telephony engine. Kind of like your car has an engine that helps to make it go. Asterisk is an engine to help move forward telecommunications. It's multi-protocol, and so it supports very many protocols from SIP, MGCP, H323, ISDN, SS7, many old protocols. And also it's very programmable. There are different interfaces that you can use to make it do whatever you'd like to. There's dynamic control interface. There's ADI, I think you called it ADI. There's database configuration, or you can use standard configuration file. There's many other dynamically configurable interfaces as well. It's multi-codec, It supports many codecs from over the years. There have been, Asterisk was born in a time of telecommunications change. So the early 2000s, late 1999, early 2000s, in the United States telecommunication market, many things were changing. There was some deregulation, and there were some changes with regards to what was allowed to be connected, and there were also very many changes in telecommunications protocols at that time. And so Asterisk was able to come in and take advantage of all these changes and interoperate between old telephony and new telephony and provide a bridge between them. And so with that, it was able to be very successful in the market and be able to grow. And last of all, Asterisk is definitely an application engine, and it includes many applications that probably many of you are already familiar with this information, but good starting point applications and proof of concepts for people to use and begin to see the potential of Asterisk, which include conferencing, queues, and many more. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some people. Are any of you developers? Like, how many? Raise your hand if you're a developer or you work on like a programmer, anything like that. Some of you. So some of you will think this is interesting, and some of you will not. I apologize for that. I wasn't sure what type of audience I would have, but I'm going to talk a little bit about versions. So Asterisk 11 was released in October of 2012. It was, and if you look up there, it says LTS. And so that was released in 2012, and I'm going to talk about what that LTS means. Asterisk 12 was released in 2013, in December of 2013. And if you look, that's just about 1 year apart. Asterisk 13 was released just about 1 year later. And so, if you look at the schedule, it's about 1 year apart. And if you look, it was October 2014. We did not have a release in 2015 of Asterisk, if you notice. There's not been a 14 release yet. And you may ask why. And so that's something I'm going to talk a little bit about today. But previously, or prior to that point, I want to talk about what LTS means. LTS means the way that we run the Asterisk project. We realized that many people, the life cycle of a phone system, a PBX or a phone system, is a lot longer, and it needs to be a lot more stable. So we made certain releases, and we made them supported longer. And that's what the LTS means, is long-term support. So versions 11 and 13 receive bug fixes on the branch for 4 years. And after the 4 years, since they are created, there's 1 year of security-only releases. In standard releases, so Asterisk 12 and presumably Asterisk 14, it will receive bug fixes for 1 year, followed by 1 year of security-only releases. So that's what LTS means, is it has longer support cycle that we include bug fixes and things like that in. So Asterisk 14 presumably will not be an LTS. But so let's talk about why there was such a long difference in time between 13 and 14. And during 13, we came to the realization that we needed to improve our testing infrastructure on Asterisk. In order for you as business owners to be able to trust your business or with Asterisk and trust your customers' businesses with Asterisk, we felt we needed to improve the testing that we do in Asterisk. So we took a step back from a lot of other things that we were doing, and we decided to build out our testing infrastructure for Asterisk, to be able to automatically test Asterisk as we develop it and as we include new changes. And so when new changes get merged into Asterisk, we are able to test those changes and get feedback a lot faster. And so the good thing is that with Asterisk 13, we changed our new feature inclusion policy. So you could add new features to Asterisk 13 without having to wait for a new version of Asterisk. It was conditional, though, on adding a test. So to make sure that the change did not break things and that would not break other parts of Asterisk, we made it so you had to submit a test for our testing framework. So, and that's also to help include this or increase the stability. So I say you can add new features to 13, but there are certain features that we felt they were too critical, or they changed too much in the core of Asterisk, and so we decided to wait. We decided to merge those into the what would become 14 branch instead, and so they did not come into 13. So some changes did not make it into 13, and we have reached a point where there's enough new features in that branch that we would like to create a new version of Asterisk, and so that's what we're going to do in September. Here is the release timeline. If any of you read the Asterisk mailing list, we have already created a first beta of Asterisk 14.0, which will be the newest version of Asterisk. That was released August 29th. So that was previously released a month ago. On August 29th, so on Monday, we're going to create a second beta of Asterisk 14. And that includes any fixes for bugs that were found in the first beta. A few weeks after Monday, so about 3 weeks after Monday, we plan to release the first release candidate of Asterisk 14. So this is the version that will come out directly prior to an official Asterisk 14 release. And the week of AsterCon, which is the last week of September, we should be finalizing the 14.0 release, and we'll have a brand new version of Asterisk. So what's new in Asterisk 14? We wanted to make things better as far as Asterisk plane and infrastructure. We also wanted to improve Asterisk REST interface, ARI, or ARI. We also wanted to make it easier for new users to use Asterisk. So one of the things that we added to make Asterisk better infrastructure is we added the ability for any of you that do large installations, but the ability with Kamailio or OpenSIPs, but we have the ability to share extension state to them via the SIP publish method. You can use SIP publish, and that's using ChanPJ SIP to propagate extension state. We also have some improvements in DNS. We have support now for IPv6, quadruple A IPv6 DNS support. We didn't have that before. That was a problem that, obviously now, as time goes on, it's becoming more important to have IPv6 DNS support. We also have SRV record support, so the ability to load balance servers across DNS entries, SRV entries, and then we have support for NAPTR records for any of you that are interested in that, and that's kind of its own thing. We added support in the REST interface for the ability to retrieve recordings from Asterisk without having to set up an FTP server or some other way to get them. You directly from Asterisk, you can download recordings that you make on the REST interface. We also have the ability to do playback on the REST interface from remote media locations. So you can give it a HTTP resource, like a WAV file or something like that, and Asterisk will go and download that WAV file and then play it back on a channel. We also added the support for media playlists so that you don't have to do your own listing support for when you're doing playback. You don't have to wait for end events every time that you want to and build your own state machine inside of your client code to be able to play many files in a row. Sorry, I don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to have to go through this a little bit quickly. We also tried to make it easier for new users to use Asterisk, those that actually build Asterisk. So if you have Asterisk and it is pre-packaged in your distribution, this is not an issue. But if you download Asterisk and like to build it yourself, if any of you have tried to build PJ Project, it can be challenging to get it right and also to make it build with Asterisk. And so what we did is we added an option to Asterisk to download its own PJ project by itself and apply any patches that we need to it, and then it will link PJ project into Asterisk itself in one binary. And you can do that with a system installed PJ project too. It still works and it downloads its own copy. Well, I think that's it for me. Those are some of the highlights that I have today. Are there any questions that you have for me? Вопросы какие-то? Спасибо.
Excuse me, I have one question about WebRTC. I have known about ICE protocol, but I've heard that trickle ICE protocol is not support yet, and it gone it doesn't exist in your plans of development. Is it real, and when you will include trickle ICE protocol in Asterisk and WebRTC stack?
Good question.
Thank you.
So the question was, when will we include trickle ICE support into Asterisk, correct?
Yeah.
We actually, after we release 14, we have to make plans for our next development efforts. So what will we do in the new version of Asterisk after 14? And so one of the things that we need to decide is this an area that we need to focus on? I suspect that we will be adding trickle ICE support to Asterisk at some point because it's too important, but there are restrictions in PJ Project. So it's going to require us to make changes to PJ Project to make trickle ICE work. Very good question. I'm actually one of two people probably at Digium and maybe definitely at Digium, maybe the world, I don't know, but that can actually answer that question. But yeah, it's important to me as well because when I worked on WebRTC, not having trickle ICE it's inferior, right? It's not as good, right?
Okay, thank you. So in 15 release, we may wait for trickle ICE in 15 release. Yep.
Maybe. I cannot commit at this point, but possibly. Obviously, we love contributions. So if somebody gets very interested and would like to contribute it, that is welcome as well.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello. I'm so sorry for my English, like your Russian. But I have some question. In my company, some times ago, we buy a Digium, like icon on your t-shirt. And on this year, we want buy a new license for 1 year more. But we need upgrade our Digium system from 5.11 I don't remember, to 6 version. But we have some problems. When we start upgrade, we have an error.
Okay.
Okay, it's no problem. We write to the Digium help desk, but you can help us. You write, maybe you must press no only download, you must download and install, but the same error I see. And in my Digium, I have about 70 gigabytes of errors, and the Digium support say this is no problem. You have more than 80 gigabyte free space. This we won't clear your error message, and we can't update your system. I write why I need pay
Давайте
money.
ближе к вопросу, если можно. Да, потому что это просто история, как у нас сложились отношения с Диджумом.
Why
Вопрос.
so very poor service?
I think good question.
I want to spend money for my education for Asterisk.
Yeah.
I didn't want to pay my company money for buy new license for Digium. This is really problem for us.
Я думаю, с компанией TS Design можно будет обсудить. Вот Гриша даже встал и говорит, вот я здесь, мы это обсудим.
I phoned to the ATS Design and ask about this question. But can't make something because the Digium is very close system.
Yeah, the switch boxes, right? Yes. So first off, I apologize for the problem that you had. Sorry that you've had a poor experience with support. I don't work on that side. I work on the open source side. But if you'd like to discuss it afterwards, I'll see if I can help. Figure out if there's some way I can help you.
No, I just ask about. You make a very good project, Asterisk, but very bad support for your paid project like Digium.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry about the trouble. I know a lot of people are successful in upgrading, but maybe there's a particular issue that you have that's maybe unique to your system. But you know, I can see if I can connect you with maybe more people in support or something like that that might be able to further assist you. And I apologize for the difficulty you've had. Yeah.
Experience for us. Okay, thank you.
Спасибо за вопрос.
Thank you for your comment and your question.
Я надеюсь, это будет короткий вопрос. Хорошо, спасибо.
Are you going to release new versions of Asterisk via packages?
Via packages from Digium. Packages from Digium? Good question. I think we used to, so I'm only doing this 6 months, and a long time ago we used to have our own packages, right? Is that why you're asking? I don't know if we have new plans to make packages other than the ones that the distributions provide. It's something we talk about, but it's a lot of work, you know, for the development team to maintain packages and things like that. And the people that used to do that, that maintain the packages, aren't there anymore. And so they, so you know, it's a question. I'm not sure. I don't know at this point.
But it would be a great idea.
Okay, good. I will take your suggestion and I will bring it back, because that's one of the reasons why I like to come to these, is I like to figure out what people actually need and what helps them. So if that would help you, I'll bring that information back to my team and we will discuss it.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Kirill.
Kirill? Thank you, Kirill. Спасибо.
Мэтью, спасибо большое. Друзья, давайте поаплодируем Мэтью, так как мы ему благодарны за то, что он прилетел из Америки. А из Америки...